My name is Moses Powell. I've been studying Jiu-Jitsu for the last 20 years. I'm the master for Renda Visitational. And at this particular time, I'm a senior master in the art of Jiu-Jitsu Te and Jiu-Jitsu Ryu.
.radio.net presents to you some of the most deadly jiu-jitsu masters in the world. Trained in the vicious urban inner-city street combat system of Sanukas Ryu Jiu-Jitsu, this art was created by the legendary Dr. Moses Powell, the father of American contemporary jiu-jitsu and the greatest martial artist of the 20th century. This network brings together 4 radio shows 4 nights a week, starting with Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Each one teach one, with the Pia Master himself, Grandmaster Urban Muhammad, and his protege, Professor Terrence Hale. Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Modern Combat Masters, hosted by the inheritor of GM Billy Davis Jiu-Jitsu, guru of his own Filipino system, and Sanukas Master, Grandmaster Daryl Sargent, and his co-host, Sifu Reseda de Jesus. Thursday nights at 9 p.m. is Professor Tom Curry's radio talk show, a Kenpo master and professor of Sanukas Ryu, 20 years law enforcement, senior tactical training instructor for intelligence retired, and author of the official Sanukas Ryu Jiu-Jitsu testing and training curriculum. And Friday nights at 8 p.m. is Making the Connection, hosted by the president of DocRadio.net, Grandmaster in the art of Sanukas Ryu and Soke of Kuroshi Kaikan martial arts system, and president of the Family of Sanukas organization, Soki Haisan Khalik, and his co-host, Shihan Farouk Gibbs. All of these shows can be linked to online by typing in docradio.net or listening live at the scheduled time by dialing 646-716-6825. DocRadio.net is also proud to present DocMagazine.net, the world's largest martial art magazine dedicated to Dr. Moses Powell, Sanukas Ryu Eye-to-Eye Jiu-Jitsu, Urban Tactical Street Self-Defense, and Streetology. Please join our Facebook group by typing in docradio.net and follow us on Twitter by typing docradio.net. Thank you for your support, and in the words of Doc, eye to eye, heart to heart, to the wall and back, os.
Welcome to Eye to Eye. This is Fukan Shabazz from the Warrior Central Kai Dojo, Warrior Within Branch.
Blog Talk Radio.
Tonight we have a very special guest. This is Fukan Shabazz from Central Kai Dojo, Warrior Within Branch. Tonight we have a very special. We have 2 special guests. We're going to have Grandmaster Lumumba as well as Professor Hakeem, who are definitely the pioneers in the Sanukas Ryu system. Also, my teacher, Salahuddin, he'll be joining us later on in the evening. My co-host will be actually seeing Professor Saifullah Amariki, who is actually also the director of the Warrior Within Humboldt dojo that I belong to. With Senjokai is a branch of that. So now I'm just waiting for these masters to call in. So actually, I'm going to be doing a little bit of new formatting as well, reaching out, to the younger generation. So some of the things I'll be doing from time to time coming up, I'll be having like certain commercial breaks where I'll be advertising maybe different dojos or different things that's going on in the community. And then sometimes, like even now, when I'm waiting for a guest, I may bring on certain music. I think I have one of my guests, Professor Hakeem, joining us. Let me see. Is this Professor Hakeem? Professor?
No, this is Lumumba.
Oh, Grandmaster Lumumba, how you doing? Let me.
How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Eye to eye, Grandmaster.
Eye to eye.
I I know you're a little under the weather today, and I definitely appreciate you taking time out to come on the show. Let me ask you right now: is it safe for you to talk, or would you like for me to reschedule? It's totally up to you, sir.
Well, Hakeem is going to come in a few minutes. I'll just come in and say Hakeem is with me, and
okay.
You talk for me. I'm taking painkillers, so I feel kind of drowsy. You have a pain over there.
Okay, so you relax, and I'm gonna wait for the professor to come in on the show, and then when I see him coming in, I'll go from there. And also, and what's the last four numbers? The last four numbers of his number. The last four digits.
Of his number?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. All right. So all right. So let me just I'm just gonna give him a second, and we'll wait for him to come in. Also, Professor Seyfullah is going to be calling in as well. All right.
So you may call him back. Call him to get on right away.
Yeah. Actually, let me see. I try to call him into the show. Give me 1 second, sir. Actually, while I wait for them to, while I wait for one of the professors or Grandmaster to call back, I'm going to try this new formatting, which is, I just want to thank you too. The fans out there that's been following us. You're making a show, a very powerful show, and I want this show to feel at home. This is where you kind of get that knowledge, man. You kind of get that. I know y'all want to know more about Sanukas. We keep revealing more and more of these masters, these grandmasters that, you guys, may not even know was in this system, but Dr. Moses Powell trained over 1,000 people. Dr. Powell has trained all over the world. So I think let me see if Grandmaster Lumumba.
Yes, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm just waiting for. I'm waiting for the professor to call. Let me see if this professor.
Yeah, I'm online here.
All right, Professor Hakeem, how you doing, sir?
Oh, so I'm there, my brother. Peace and blessings.
Good. Let me also give you the official greeting as well. Hold on. Well, Professor, I know you didn't know, but tonight I'm actually gonna let you. I'm going to kind of take a seat back. I'm you guys before my time, and I just kind of want you to open up the Sanukas rule and also tell the audience who is Grandmaster Lumumba, what is his relevance in the system, and what made him famous, and why did everybody say wow? Why is it when I said I'm getting Grandmaster Lumumba on the show, why did everybody say what? They couldn't believe it. So tell the people about that, and tell people about who you are. And you open it up, and we're kind of like a roundtable discussion, and I'll come in at some point. Hello, Professor?
Us?
Yeah, Professor, you can open up the show.
Okay, I'd like to say peace and blessings, greetings to everyone in the name of Allah, and thank you very much for having us on the line as part of the Sanukas family. I am Abdul Hakim Bolai from the New York branch of the Sanukas family. I would like to, before I continue, I'd like to thank all my instructors, and the reason why I say my instructors, I think I'm one of the very few people in the system that was on the mat with Supreme Grandmaster Professor V, Dr. Moses Powell, Soki John Davis, Grandmaster Anthony Mohammed, Grandmaster Bill McLeod, Grandmaster Lumumba, Grandmaster Robert Crossan, Grandmaster Jose Velez, Professor Michael Black, who had passed away, Soki Desana Stone, Professor Shem, Cedro Abdul Mutakavir, Soki Adam Battle, Shian Wayne, who also passed away, Shian Baki, who was one of my first instructors, Soki Hassan Kalik, Professor Pedro, Professor Lutalo Mohammed, and we call him Sensei Bill Pierce, which is Professor Pierce. These are some of the people that I was on the mat with, who I trained with. My primary instructors is Grandmaster Anthony Mohammed, Grandmaster Bill McLeod, Grandmaster Lumumba, and etc. So I'd like to thank them for any and everything that they gave me towards the Sunukas family, and of course, Dr. Moses Powell himself.
Okay. So, Professor, tell the audience who is Grandmaster Lumumba. Who is he?
Grandmaster Lumumba originated from Trinidad, right? And with my knowledge, he was the first grand champion of Dr. Moses Powell. He is one of Dr. Moses Powell's street warrior in general, you know, and if the doc needed someone, Grandmaster Lumumba was there.
And Grandmaster Lumumba, how did he? When did he come into the system? Like, how did he? Like I know that when he was one of the original students, right? Like he was one of the original people that Doc trained back in the early '60s.
Yeah.
Okay. And Grandmaster Lumumba, if what was that training like back then?
It was rough, man. It was rough. It was hard. We trained for 2-3 hours, bro. Really hard stuff. Yeah.
You know, Professor Hakeem, do you know any of the highlights, like some of the fights or some of the like what made Grandmaster Lumumba like such a powerful fighter? Like for example, I know he was in the World Fair, right? He was in that video of the World Fair with Doc.
Yeah, well, some of...
No.
Oh, okay. Grandmaster, you speaking?
Yes. I'm speaking to you about Grandmaster.
I wasn't in the real World Fair.
You wasn't in the World Fair?
No.
Okay, so what were some of the fights that you had that you know, like what were some of your most famous fights?
Yeah, I forget all those fights. But I would say I was at Apollo. I was United Nations. We did a show at Club University with one of these guys, Dick Gregory. We wanted to Apollo before James Brown, and that's it. Fighting to me was just, I was just doing that for the fun of it. Mm-hmm. I find other people, I get all the people I fight, you know. No one ever fight anymore, just going out relaxing. Although I train hard, waiting for a fight, but I just train, that's it.
Now, back in those days, what year did you start training with Dr. Moses Powell?
65, 66, somewhere around there. 65, 66, somewhere around there. Mm-hmm.
And back in those days, it was called Self-Defense Complete, right?
Yes, school survival. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And there was also a Footnotion and Prospect or Park, 258, St. John Recreation Center, which I'm back there now, teaching martial arts, and also a little Tai Chi. I do Tai Chi now, to cool me out. Because all the rough stuff, we need to sometimes have something to balance you. Meditation or yoga or something soft and gentle besides the vicious art of Lucas.
Yeah.
So I'm back at St. John, where Moses Tall was there, trying to revive the snooker spirit there at St. John, right now, Tuesday and Thursdays, 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock. On Monday, 10 to, on Tuesday and on Thursday, 10 to 12 o'clock. Yes.
Is there a telephone number that they can find your dojo at?
Well, talk to Hakeem. I'm going off right now. Hakeem will tell you all the details about that. All right?
Okay. Thank you so much, Grandmaster.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Okay. Let me just give him another applause too for to the audience, sometimes, you can get the benefit and talk to a Grandmaster for 2 hours, but even if you just talk to them for 15 minutes, hey, it's history. It's still an honor, and it's still appreciated. Professor Hakeem, I have a question for you. One of the men that you mentioned that I hear a lot about from back in the day is Brother Pedro. Now I don't think he's living right now, but I don't know if his rank was Shion Pedro, Professor Pedro, Grandmaster Pedro. But who was Pedro?
Well, let me just say something about the titles. Usually, when in our system or with me, usually you come up and you might meet someone. Let's say, for instance, like you saying Professor Hakeem, but most people know me as Hakeem. So whatever title you meet the individual with at the time you met them, that's the title you seem to kind of continue to call the individual. So really and truly, I'm not sure if he was a Grandmaster, but when I met him, we called him Professor Pedro. When I met Professor Pedro, when he teached, he may demonstrate a technique, but he like explained the technique more to you than he talked a lot while he's doing his technique. So he didn't. Maybe for about a year or two after I met him, he passed away or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I remember I heard a story where Professor Pedro would like when he would come on the dojo, when he would come on the mat, that even some people that might have had higher rank than him would still line up under him, and I thought that was a pretty powerful story. So I thought maybe there was something unique about this individual. Have you ever heard that? Have you ever heard that about him? Like people who might have had higher rank than him would actually line up under him?
Yeah, well, what I did heard about him, he was one of the Doc's right hand. He was the Doc's gunslinger. That's what I heard. Now, I just heard that. I wasn't there to see that.
Right. So let me ask you this. So Professor Hakeem, what year did you come into San Lucas?
Officially, right, I started training with Sensei Baki under the Sugar system, which is with Grandmaster Robert Sugar Crossan, right, his student Sensei Baki, right, and that was probably around 85, could be a little before that, but officially, the first time I have the Doc name on the certificate was actually September 11th, 1990. Now, I was training with GM, Grandmaster Anthony Mohammed, on Albany and Bergen. And the Doc used to come there and teach. And then we moved from there and we went to Flatbush and Lafayette, when worlds collide. And that was pretty much when Doc came back to New York, and that was his home base.
Now, what was that training like in the 90s? So around 1990. Like maybe between 89 and 91. That's when he came back. I think he would come back from Atlanta because prior to that he was in Florida. So he left Florida, came to Atlanta, and from Atlanta, then he came back to Brooklyn when he was trying to reestablish himself. But so when you met him in those early 90s, what was that training like? What was his movement like?
Well, the Doc used to come in. He would come in, and once he comes in, he takes over the class. It doesn't matter who's teaching. Right, and he was still rolling around, still taking some falls, so I was able to see a lot of that, and then he would teach his techniques, and then he would let leave, but his training was definitely, he would put you, that's like I heard many other people said that his calisthenics was no joke. He would put you in serious calisthenics and, have you in push-ups for a long period of time or or horse stance or whichever. So, it's pretty much the same as many of the other brothers have spoken.
Yeah, I was I didn't really with this interview. Normally, I get a chance to pre-interview the guests, but normally, with Grandmaster, he had I'm assuming he probably had to have some dental work. So I didn't get that opportunity, so I'm trying to find myself in this interview. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna play an interview. It's a short little clip from Doc, and I want you to listen to it. He gave this in 1992. Hold on 1 second, sir.
Okay.
From us here in New York for a little while, and we're so happy to have Master Moses Powell. Welcome back. Thank you much. I've been going about 20 years, 19, 20 years, and I've been back home for a year now. And I'm presently teaching at the World's Life and 53 Flatbush in Brooklyn. And I'm trying to get this on his feet again. Right. Tell us a little bit about that. Well, Sanukas is based on simplicity and survival, and jiu-jitsu, karate, heritage, kickfighting, PF and nurse tracking, things of that nature. Where were some of the places that you taught? Well, I've taught in criminal justice, state of Florida. I taught in Puerto Rico. I've taught the CID, most Caribbean islands and things like that. Now, how do you find some of the martial artists and perhaps their approach in other countries versus or indifference to his? Well, I think a lot of people in other countries, if they're taught proper and the honest teacher, they can become a strong fulfillment there. Sometimes they're blindly led. But when a good man comes through there, they're very good students there. Their game was all lost for the time that you were gone, and we're happy that you're back. But I'm sure you spread your wings all over them. Yeah, but I'm back home now. Is there something we can look forward to that you'll be collectively doing? I plan to do a lot of seminars, a lot of demonstrations, a lot of more traveling, a lot of things that we have in my book. We started writing and some videotapes we come up with.
Professor Hakeem, did you hear that?
Yeah, I heard it.
Okay, now, there's two things that come to mind when I hear this interview. One thing that comes to mind is that he says that he's going to put Sanukas, basically back on his feet, like he's going to paraphrase, to basically re-energize Sanukas. Before I go into that question, I think my senior professor has just logged in. 1 second. Hi, senior professor Saifullah. This is Senior Professor Saifullah Al-Mariki. He's going to be my co-host tonight, and right now we have on the call Professor Hakeem, Grandmaster Lumumba. He's actually yes, and Grandmaster Lumumba.
Walaikum salam, Aki.
Alhamdulillah. It's a pleasure talking to you and having you on the show, sir.
Thanks. Thanks to you and whoever else. Appreciate that.
Now, Professor Hakeem, so in that interview, one of the things that he talked about, because that interview was in 1992, and one of the things he said like 2-3 times in that interview was that he basically just want to get Sanukas back on his feet, whatever, like kind of like re-energize the system. So, what was happening in New York City prior to that time? Why did he feel the need to say that? Like, was there a void in New York, or like why did he feel the need to re-energize Sanukas?
Well, I don't know if there was a void because there was always a Sokila John Davis, there was Grandmaster Anthony Muhammad, there was Grandmaster Lumumba Jan, there was Grandmaster Lumumba. So far as a void is concerned, I don't know anything about that, but I think maybe because he wasn't here physically with the brothers that who his first fruits, I should say, maybe that's why he said something like that. I don't know.
Now, when you did see him in those 90s, like when you saw him move and the teachings that he was giving you in those early 90s, was it similar or was it different than what you was learning from the other masters that was teaching it, when he wasn't here?
Well, I could say this much: anybody that trained with the doc, you would know right off the bat. So if it was different, you would know. I learned a lot from GM, Grandmaster Anthony Muhammad, from Sokila John Davis, from Grandmaster Lumumba Jan, from even Ose, Shian Ose, Soki Ose. We were students together, right? And Ose practically lived in the dojo. So when you look at these brothers, you see the flow. There is no doubt that the dark spirit was with them. You know, so people like them, Grandmaster Robert Crossan, you know, C. Jordan with the career. When you see the flow, you know you could see the dock. I went to Georgia one year, and I at the Jap Fest, and I did performed with Grandmaster Jose Velez, and when we finished, an older gentleman, way up in around the dock age, or probably older than the dock, came up to me. He says, "Man, I saw you know you move just like somebody I know from New York." So I said, "Well, who's that?" He says, "Dr. Moses Powell." So I had a T-shirt on with the dock's picture on it. You know, I simply saying that just to say that if you've been around the dock and you flew, there's no question if you studied with the dock or with his students.
And his students. So, like for instance, like you said that. So you had a chance to move. So and you had a chance to study with Professor V as well, right? In Jiu-Jitsu.
Well, you know, some people may, you know, it depends on how you say study. Professor V used to come to the dojo, and when he comes, he would teach. Right? You remember, you know.
I'm sorry, sir. Go ahead.
You know, so it's just like when class starts for us. If Grandmaster Lumumba is there, he would start the class. If GM is there, and he was mainly, well, the place, the school was GM school, right? And he was doing other stuff, activities. Whoever the senior person came there, they would carry on the class. We had, you know, some of the brothers that I grew up with was Shian Steve, Shian Forever, Shian Gene Montague, Soki Jose, Damien, Reggie, you know. These brothers and them, whoever was there and know what's going on, they would teach the class.
Now, who was the main instructor at One World Collide? Who was the primary instructor other than Dr. Carl? And other than, other than Dr. Carl?
Grandmaster Anthony Muhammad.
And then other than him, who was the next one?
Well, like I said, after Grandmaster Anthony Muhammad left, Grandmaster Bill McLeod became the person that was really leading the thing. But like I said before, whoever the senior, because I was the headquarters in New York, so whoever was there, if Professor Lutalo was there, Grandmaster Lumumba was there, or whoever was there, when I went to the class, pretty much was leading the class.
No, I did an interview with Shion Kevin Aaron, and I think this is the same brother. Is it Lutalo Muhammad? He's from Trinidad?
Yeah, Brother Lutalo is from Trinidad.
Yeah, and they said that when he got his I don't know if it was fifth or sixth dan, that his test, that he had to hold a horse there for 8 hours. Have you ever heard?
No, but I wouldn't doubt it, you know, because but he's the type of brother who is that type of warrior. I could see, you know, the doc. I believe from what I've seen, you know, the doc knows each person's capability. So if he felt you could do 1,000, he would give you 1,000 or 2,000. If he felt I could do that 10, he might give me 20. I don't know.
So was he? I know he's from Trinidad. I know he was Trinidad, but did he live in New York and move to Florida, or was he from Florida and then moved to New York? Like, what was his? Where did he live?
Well, Brother Lutalo, I know he lived in Florida. He lived in New York, and when he left New York, I think before New York, he was in Florida, but before that, he might have been in New York. And then when he left New York, he went back to Florida, and he used to be at Dr. Phil Shadiq's dojo.
Hey, Professor, just give me 1 second. I'm going to bring him right to the Shion Salahuddin. Shion?
Yes, sir.
This is Shion Salahuddin, the center of the Central Kai Dojo down in Atlanta. Shion, you want to introduce yourself? Oh, Shion.
What?
Yeah, I may be having.
Precaution, you have them?
Yeah,
let me interject here. I was talking to Professor Hakeem earlier. We talked, you know, whenever we talk, it's a very good talk. You know, I learned a lot from him. You know, just being in his company. I remember the day I was coming out I was in Brooklyn coming out to masjid, and who would ride by and see me and stop and get out and greet me. And the next day we was doing a show together at the Oriental Self-Defense with Aaron Banks, with his son, and a host of other great snooker instructors. I just wanted to we talked. You mentioned some things about the show, and I just wanted to just ask you the question. You've heard some of the shows, and you heard some of the statements. Are there any of the statements that you may have heard on the show that may have sound familiar to you, or that you can verify, if you can think of any, Professor Hakeem?
You mean the show, or something that the doc may have said?
Well, the show itself, from what any of the previous.
Well, the thing about the show, it was phenomenal. You know, I personally didn't expect to see the people that I saw on the stage, and I was well pleased and very happy to be in the presence of all the people that was there. You know,
yes, sir.
You know, and everybody that saw the show that I get feedback from, you know, they loved it. They loved it. The only thing I could say about the show is that they feel that the person that we did the show for is someone that he just used us, you know, to promote his stuff. You know, so that's the only comment that I get. Other than, as far as we're concerned, we took over the whole place. You know, we made the show. But as far as Grandmaster Aaron Banks, he was just a user.
Actually, I was very commendable, because you came in as the last. Matter of fact, you were the last person that I asked, and that was just the day before, and they say that you were available. They show you the type of, it reminded me of what Doc said to me once: when I call, you come, and I took that as, everybody was not answering something that I was requesting, but something they were doing it for the Doc, Doc was calling, and the fact that nobody had performed, in the Oriental Self-Defense, Royal Self-Defense, as far as just straight out, Sanukas representing, since Doc in a family manner. Now we have, of course, we have some phenomenal demonstrations by Lumumba Jan and Grandmaster Sugar Crossan, Robert Sugar Crossan. But I say, as far as that, I like the way that the way Gassan Khalik had presented it and told me that what he liked about it was that it was the family, and the fact that that people were lined up. We were lined up in order. You see the order, you see the discipline. Whereas the other demonstrations, people came out as they wanted, and they wanted, in all kinds of fashion and all kind of order. But it was a strict discipline. Like when we came out on the stage, and the age difference. Somebody like at that time was 72 years of age, Grandmaster McBride, and then Grandmaster Abdul Latif Sadek, who was 75 at the time. So just looking at the age, and no one practiced for it. That's another wonderful thing about it. That it's not a planned demonstration that we practiced for, but we're going to put some order, to all of us presenting what Dr. Moses Powell had once given us. And your comments, Professor Hakeem, about this particular show, Blog Talk Radio, that Shihan Salahuddin and Shabazz, Furqan Shabazz has been presenting. What are your views? What are your feelings about the show itself? And the fact that we're very happy that you were able to come and partake of the show tonight, along with Grandmaster Lumumba.
Well, no one else in the family is doing what they're doing, so we applaud them for that. No doubt about it. I hope they continue to do this. I would say that some of the people that came on as some of our family members, they speak kind, and at the same tone, they seem to have a lot of what's the word I want to use? Animosity towards some of their fellow brothers. Yeah. And if this is all about the Doc, it doesn't matter your personal feeling, how you feel about someone else. We here to represent the doc. The doc, whoever he gave whatever, whoever he said whatever, is true. If he said something to you, it is true. If he said something to me, it is true, because you probably wasn't there and I probably wasn't there when you were there. So we don't need to bicker about that. We here to represent the doc right now, and if we're going to do that, then all the grandmasters, the senior grandmasters, need to get together with whatever information they have and put the curriculum together. And that way, every dojo, every school that says they're representing Sanukus, the doc, would have the same grading, would have the same curriculum, and nobody debates that, because the doc is not here. So the people to do it now is the seniors.
That's a very good, very, very good point, the way eloquently you bring that out. I just want to ask also, you had mentioned to me earlier that Professor James was on, and he made a statement about Soki Hassan Kalik. And also, not only that, Soki Hassan Kalik himself, Farrakhan had asked him about this question. Now, could you tell me the instances in which you were present when you heard Doc mention the statement concerning Soki Hassan Kalik that we were talking about?
No, I can't give you date and time, but I could tell you that I was present at one time. I went where it collide when the doc spoke, and maybe somewhere else too, where the doc spoke very highly of Soki Hassan Kalik. But not only did he just speak about Soki Hassan Kalik, I was also present when he mentioned GM, and I know GM, Grandmaster Anthony, please forgive me, but I know you mentioned that you challenged people to come and say differ something that you had mentioned before. But I have heard, I don't know if you was upstairs or if you where you were, but I've heard the doc also mentioned, because someone asked a question in the class, there was probably about 8 of us downstairs at Wentworth Collide, who would he leave the system to? And they asked him for Soki Lil Jon. And he said, well, Soki has his own stuff, and he won't. And the person one of the persons that he have in line would be GM. Right now, whether GM was there or not, I can't recall. I believe he was in the building for sure. Right? Because he usually always is his place. Right? So it's not just, it's both. I heard he speak good of Soki Hassan Kalik, and I also heard him spoke about GM.
And this is also Professor James had brought out previously on the show when he was a guest that the people the family members were told to stand up and get behind Grandmaster Anthony Muhammad. So this is very good that you should bring this point out.
I also like to I congratulate the brothers from Florida. The interviews that they had and the way they speak, very eloquent. They were precise, they were sincere, they spoke from their heart, and there were a few people tried to chop them down. But just like Dr. Phil Shanique said, when the doc was with him, and whatever he said to him, that's what he said. He can't debate what somebody else has said. And the same like Professor or Shihan Aaron, or I don't remember his name well, but I love his interview also. They speak from their heart, and I think all of us as family members should speak as family members and get together and do something for Sanukus. Because if the doc left us in charge to represent him and to represent the system, then let it be like that, and let us do that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Shihan, are you with us? Shihan Saladin?
Shihan, are you on the phone?
Yes.
I'm gonna interject.
Yes, sir.
Professor, I want to ask you. I want to talk about Dr. Paul's Caribbean roots. When I did a show, I was doing a show a few times back, and on the internet, you always hear about Dr. Powell lived in Virginia, but Grandmaster Darrell Sargent actually brought to my attention that he said, Shabazzian, you really need to correct that, and I did correct that on the show that I did between Senior Grandmaster Anaconda and Chief Professor Shem, and I corrected that. But I don't know if you know, but can you at least tell Doc what was Dr. Moses Powell's roots, in terms of his Caribbean roots, and what was his relationship with his Caribbean roots?
Well, the only thing I know about the doc, or that I heard, because like I personally don't know I heard just like you heard that he has roots in Barbados. You know.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, I'm here. I'm listening. Yes.
I'll get this. Grandmaster Lumumba.
That's true. He said he's from Barbados. Yes, that's true.
Yes, Grandmaster Lumumba. Yes.
He said to me. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, and another thing, what are some of the Caribbean islands like? Are there brothers in Trinidad or brothers in like Barbados that's actually doing Sanukis right now? I mean, like I'm interested in that in the family in the Caribbean. You know, I don't hear too much about that going on. Do you know anything about that?
We definitely have a crew of brothers in Trinidad that is doing Sanukis. They're doing Comite Route, and Sanukis, which is the same, one and the same. They pretty much under Soul John Davis. Right, brothers like Junior Kisto, my dear brother Russell Gomes. You know, these brothers was actually, I would say they was doing Sanukis before they even realized it, because they was with Don Jacobs, Grandmaster Don Jacobs, who also studied with the Duck. Now, you know, we've been to Trinidad to his tournaments and stuff, and he does acknowledge that he studied with the Duck, and he's one of the Duck's oldest students that became a millionaire from teaching martial arts or teaching what he learned, you know. But yes, we do have people in Trinidad.
Yes, the Grandmaster Don Jacobs, I think his dojo is called Purple Dragon. Is that correct?
Yes.
Or Purple something. Purple, I know it has purple in it.
Dragon.
Yeah, Purple Dragon.
Donjitsu.
And another question, now, I've never heard no one talk about this, and maybe you may know about this. Some of my research, I found that Dr. Powell was given an award from the African country Benin. He was given the Benin Award, and I think that country gave him an award, and I think he might have had some dealings in terms of training the African military over there. Do you know anything about that African country as it relates to Dr. Powell?
No, I don't know anything. I can't speak on what I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I have a question.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. That's I was done.
Yeah, I'm just. Can you just take us through what it was like? My first question. There's two questions. The first question is, and it's really geared toward Grandmaster Lumumba, and if he allows you to answer for him, that's good. That's all right. Too. But when you see it as someone is a champion of Sanukis. You know, Grandmaster Lumumba is a champion of Sanukis. Soul John's a champion of Sanukis. You know, what Grandmaster Lumumba? What is it? What is it? You know, what does it mean to you? And what is it to be? What does it feel like? You know, what is the emotional mindset that you go through being a champion for Sanukis, for Dr. Moses Powell, for the family of Sanukis? And then the second part of the question, I want to ask Professor Hakeem, in those early days, early 90s, when we started having the seminars and celebrations, there was a unity, there was an energy that was strong, and as time went by, getting into the 2000s, you see that decade, that energy began to dissipate. You know, why and what was that energy like in the beginning? You know, that we're missing so much now.
Is Grandmaster Lumumba going to answer?
All right. The energy is that we came to practice at, let's say, 10 o'clock in the morning. We did stretches, exercises like crazy, exercises. You punch for like, who knows what, 1,000 punches, 1,000 kicks. Take wood horse stand for 5, 10, 20 minutes. Hold his hand a certain way, or punch a certain way, or sit in a position, in a physical position, but you only have one hand on the ground. You understand me? And one hand in the air. Staying there for who knows how long. He's shaking, he's shaking. What I think happens is that after all these exercises is being done, the adrenaline comes in. You see? And then people start feeling better, because after you exert your physical body, the chemicals in your brains come in and give you a certain relief. still feeling of euphoria. And that's what we was doing, and I think he didn't really know what was happening, but scientifically, in all terms of biological function of the body, we went to another level. All of us, everybody who was on the mat, doing this stuff. And that kind of feeling come on and on, but after a while, and later on, I don't want to say these young ladies, they didn't want to exercise or train as hard as we were trained before. So when these guys talk about they were training Moses Powell, they were training. Yeah, they were training, but they wasn't doing that much training. They were playing around half the time. They didn't want to train hard. We bust our butts training. I'm telling you. So I don't want to say anything about it, because these guys are going to feel a little bad. But we train hard. We train hard. As far as being a representative of Snookus, we went out all over the place and sparred all kinds of schools, fight people, and because we wanted to test our abilities as Snookus practitioners against other people. And we was most of the time successful. And then when some instructors would tell them, listen, keep your students over there. We don't want to know. We don't have no problems. We're going around fighting and sparring people. We're in schools, busting the schools and spar people. I think I went to the school and said, the instructor was there. I just tell them, let's fight. Well, some of us, for instance, let's spar. You understand me? That's what we were doing. We was just talking. We just sparring. We was fighting. We was in the tournaments. We was fighting. Some of these guys never went to tournaments. They never entered the tournaments. They never fight a lot of people. They never fight in the street. They never get hurt in the street. They never fight in the street. They were in those they were great martial arts, honest.
That's very interesting. Professor Hakeem, thank you too, Grandmaster Lumumba. That's a very good insight. Can you talk, because you did demonstrations at these seminars and celebrations that they had. I think Sokia Sakali, remember him saying that he started it. And I remember seeing a couple of tapes with you on it performing, your demonstration with you and your students and other Snookus instructors. What was that energy like, to go to one of these functions, and why is it that energy now is missing? Is it because doctors are not here physically, amongst us, or is it because of something else that energy is not? Can that energy can we revive that energy, and continue on in the way that you had in those early days, sir?
Oh, I have to say that first, the energy was high simply because you just Snookus family. You was there for the duck. You was doing something for the duck, for your teacher, for your father in the arts, And when we get together as family, it's like a carnival. Everybody just look pretty. Everybody just look effective. Everybody just, show off. You know what I mean? So we just enjoy ourselves. We have fun, amongst ourselves as family. So everybody, we give each other encouragement, regardless of what's taking place. So, so it was very exciting. It was very exciting. Far as the energy not being there, the energy is there. It's just that with all the politics and all the separation right there, it's kind of like, locked in. But the minute that you see the love come out again, because that's what we got, eye to eye, heart to heart, each one teach one, you're going to see the energy there. As a matter of fact, at your demonstration, at your show, you seen the energy came out. With anyone, everybody who was there had love.
Yes.
It's there.
Very
it's still
good.
there. I just want to say this, that the brothers who from all the states, from Georgia, from Tennessee, from wherever, we're family. We're family, and we love you all. You understand? Let's just be family.
Well, it's like Doc said, we're one umbrella, one family. Yes, sir.
We're on the mat tonight with Professor Hakeem, Grandmaster Lumumba, and co-host Senior Professor Saifullah. 619-996-1602. I'm gonna take some calls. I'm gonna call the last four of your number, and when I call the last four of your number, you state your name and ask your question to the guest. All right. Right now we have 7761. 7761.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello?
What's your name, sir? Yes. You're on the mat, sir.
Yes, my name is K.O. Chandler. I'm a student of Snookus, and I have the pleasure of knowing Grandmaster Lumumba and Jan Hakim. And it's a pleasure with you. And I think I had the pleasure of meeting you too, Professor Saifullah.
Yes, sir. I remember you very well, my brother. Yes, sir.
I just like to give you a big up. I just like to give you a big up and let you know that us as the children of Sanukas, we really appreciate what you're doing by giving the information and spreading this information so that all the generations can know what's going on. And it's a pleasure to have Grandmaster and Professor and Jan Hakim on the show. I'd just like to give thanks again. Say that one more time.
It's a pleasure to have you. Now, I want to ask, don't go nowhere. I've got a question for you. What is it? I mean, I'm looking to bring Grandmaster Lumumba down to Philadelphia. I've been talking to him. Also, I've got to have Professor Hakim, But what is it like? Tell us, what is it like training? You're a student of Grandmaster Lumumba, training with this, this warrior, this great Sanukas warrior. Give us some insight.
Professor Saifullah, you have no idea. It's like lessons every day. To be honest with you, from the very first day, when I had no idea who Professor Lumumba was, and I was just interested in the training, and I had the opportunity to meet him. It was like we was long lost family already, because we already had a strong connection prior to us physically meeting. So, but from the very first day, everybody would say, my brother, you have no idea how lucky you are, because your teacher doesn't necessarily choose students. So you're very fortunate that he had that he chose you. So not understanding it, because I didn't have any belt or no prior understanding of martial arts. So it was like, I had no idea basically what everybody was saying. But to be honest with you, the training, the stretching, the scientific breaking down of the art form itself, and with the
yes, sir. I want to say this about you. Okay, go ahead, please. Go ahead, sir. Finish. Go ahead.
The long story short, it's like
I think you're going in and out, breaking up.
Hello?
Yes, brother. Now we can hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, I said I was speaking to a brother of mine yesterday, because we had a short trip yesterday, and Professor, fortunately and unfortunately, didn't physically practice. So what he actually said, it actually made him more intense on me, me and my other brother's practice.
Yes.
Of course, he's professor student as well, Brother Kareem. So to make a long story short, he was giving us keys and pointers and right in the practice. Normally that we wouldn't get when he's physically practicing with us. And all I could think of after the practice, I told my brother, I said, yo, bro, the best thing we could have did, man, I said, if we was using our head, we would have just had a tape recorder, press record, man, while we were practicing, man, because Jules' information, Professor was dropping laughs, was so sincere that if he wanted to repeat it right now, he couldn't do it again.
Oh, hello? Yes, sir. We hear you loud and clear. You're coming in good.
So and prior to our practice, pleasure stopping the brother Jan Hakim's practice, which of course is always a pleasure. It's courteousness, and they keep it pure and simple, the same way they received it. So I just give thanks and praises all the way around.
Well, I want to say one thing concerning you. Doc, when it came to me and Grandmaster McBride and people, like Professor James and his instructor for Taekwondo, for Grandmaster Berry, Rick Berry, he always, we always instructed to take care of our teachers. And I want to say, you followed that. You exemplified that, when you came down to Philadelphia. And I want to let you know that I appreciate that, and I hope that my students, will follow that type of example concerning me and all the students, the students of Grandmaster Anthony, Grandmaster Lumumba Jan, Professor James, Darrell King, all the students, Sukhasan Khalik, and all the ones that I don't even mention, that their students will follow the example and what you exemplified when you came to Philadelphia, out of the love that you had, for and still do have for your teacher. So I want to thank you for that, and I want to thank also Professor Hakeem and also Grandmaster Lumumba for coming down, and joining us, in 2011. I appreciate that very much.
That's beautiful, my brother. I give thanks. That's the protocol and the method in which we've been taught.
And we thank you. We thank you for the call. I think we're going to move on to another caller.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome, brother. The next call is going to be 7693. Yeah, 7693.
Salaam. What's
Salam, brother.
What's up,
Alaikum salam.
Philadelphia Warriors and Dojo. I have a question.
Kareem.
Sorry.
Salam, brother.
My question is to the Grandmasters and the Shians, and if the Masters and the Shians and none of them can't get together and unite as a family, as one family, how do they expect their students to unite with all the other students of Sanukas as one family?
Oh, it's a good question.
Professor Hakeem, you want to handle it? Grandmaster Lumumba, anybody?
Well, that's what I was saying before. Sometimes you see with the students, they hear the grandmasters or the professors or the Shihan speak about someone, and they carry that burden straight down to their students also. We don't need that. This is Sanuka's family. We're here to represent the Duck right now. All right? And the Duck leave different people. He gave them different ranks, and he leave them to represent him. So let's not fight against each other, because it's not our call. It was the Duck's call. Who he wants to represent him. And anyone that he gives something to represent him, like for instance, did anyone, some of you all know that Sister Gina was named the first lady of Sanukas? She is. You can't exempt her from whatever events we have. If the Duck had 10 wives, then all of them, if so, then let they be included. But you can't exempt them from what they are. They are who they were, and are. So, so we have, as a family, we need to put aside our personal things and don't give it to our students. Don't give it to our students, because the students may not know you and they will talk about things about you. So, we don't want that.
Dr. Kareem, I'm glad you called in. You were privileged to have to train in Philadelphia as a white belt when Doc came and visited us in Philadelphia. What was that experience like for you? You share that with us as a white belt in Sanukas at the time, 2003, and here we have Dr. Moses. 2002. We have Dr. Moses Powell coming through the door and taking us through the paces, as the rough, hard, strenuous paces that usually take the warriors through. What was that experience? And then being able to ask questions to Dr. Moses Powell. What was that experience like for you?
I mean, me looking at it now, and the students who came after us at our dojo, they were never, and the students that come after, the other students at other dojos around, Sanukas dojos around the world, will never be able to meet Doc. And us meeting him as white belts for the first time, that was an experience you can't explain. And then, getting to ask him questions. And I remember one question I asked him about how did he get his fingers so strong. And he told me to get a newspaper and ball it up, like turn it and ball it up and then open it back up. That's what he told us. So, just being there in front of him and the knowledge that he had, and once the knowledge is there, you got to take advantage of it because it's not going to be there forever. So we have to take advantage of the knowledge that Doc left, for all of us, all the students, and and keep the system as it is, as Doc left it. So,
Alhamdulillah, appreciate it.
Can't explain it.
Alhamdulillah, appreciate it. Appreciate the effort and trying, but we all feel, exactly what you said, because at one point, some of us have all been at that stage, but I appreciate the call, and you sharing the knowledge, your experience with Dr. Moses Powell with us, and we'll move around to another call, eye to eye.
Eye to eye.
Watch your back.
Sure.
Okay, the next call is going to be 2326. 2326, you're on the air.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. This is Sensei Suleiman from Warrior Within Dojo, Philadelphia.
Oh, Sensei Suleiman. Yes, sir. Welcome.
Pleasure, Professor. And the other Grandmasters with you. But I just thought I'd call in. I'm sorry, sir. I didn't hear you. You dropped out a little bit.
No, I said Grandmaster. We have Grandmaster Lumumba and Professor Hakeem. That's our guest tonight.
Oh, Grandmaster Lumumba. Alhamdulillah. Assalamu alaikum. And you said Shihan Hakeem?
Professor Hakeem, yes.
Professor Hakeem. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Professor Hakeem with the beard.
Yeah, 720. Yeah.
With the beard, yeah. Always has his beard plaited.
Yeah. That's me.
Alhamdulillah. For your test. Alhamdulillah. Assalamu alaikum. Yes. Mashallah. Alhamdulillah. Pleasure to talk to you. And I was just listening while I was driving, and I figured I'd give you a call. Alhamdulillah.
Okay.
Shukran. Any questions that you have? Well, you also was there, Sister Lehman. Seeing Dr. Moses Powell. What was your experience? What was it like for you?
Oh, actually, I had to pick Doc up, and I had to drive him around for that weekend.
Yes, sir.
Take him back and forth.
How was that experience for you?
It was a good experience. Really, it was. I mean, because I was in awe in that I had always seen Doc in the films and the videos, and it was the first time I had gotten a chance to meet him, and he was very friendly and very warm. Really, he was. I guess we talked about different things other than martial arts, really, about, going here, Philadelphia, where he could eat at, and, where's his hotel and different things like that, and where could he get some oil, and he wanted this kind of kufi, and, we talked about stuff like that while we moved around, from event to event, but, he's a very warm spirit, man, and he look you right in the eyes, man.
That's right.
Straight in the eyes, man. It wasn't you could tell it was no nonsense, with him at all. But I knew that anyway from watching various videos and seeing what he had done to other people. So, and then, just the workout that day, that workout that day was tremendous because, Doc would put us in a certain position and then he'd talk. And I forget what that position. I think it was the one with the leg raised or something. It was like a crab position, a backward crab position with the leg raised. And I remember sitting back on the floor. I was saying, like, my goodness, is he gonna keep talking? But I was a white belt then, and I didn't really, it was my first experience, but it was a good one.
It's good. Well, thank you for calling in and sharing that with us, brother.
Thank you very much.
Journey to wherever your destination may be, and just keep on training hard.
Yeah, looking forward to the next seminar. I'm 54 right now.
What's that?
Alhamdulillah.
Well, I think that question is having something. We'll get heading to New York this weekend, inshallah.
This weekend? Ooh.
Yes, sir, the 28th. We'll talk about that. You know, it's something having something for all the warriors to come together, and I like it because the idea, like give a call out, is only $10. You know, I haven't been to a $10 seminar.
Is that in Brooklyn?
Yes, sir. So I had to take everybody. I took that's where we all going. We have to support. You know, so anybody here, can hear, get in touch with Soki Hassan Khalid, and everybody, all the family members. Let's get together. Let's get together, train, and then go out and have something to eat and talk about our bruises. Inshallah. It's all love. But I appreciate it once again, and we're going to turn the phone over to another caller if we have another caller on the line. And may Allah bless you, bless you and your family, brother. Wa salam What's up?
You're on the mat. This is on the mat. CentralKai.com, Word Within Branch. We have on our guest tonight is living legend, Grandmaster Lumumba, a living legend. He's actually still teaching in Brooklyn, St. John's. I'm going to let them put that information back out again. And also another pioneer and assistant Professor Hakeem, who's on the phone with us. But while these legends and while these masters and professors are still living, go get the knowledge. Like Doc said, as long as your team's alive, go get that knowledge. Go get that knowledge because it don't make sense when they're gone. It don't make sense when they're gone because just like Doc left a void in the system's life, when your teacher goes, he will leave a void in your life, guaranteed. And the same way how you wish you would have taped Doc, you wish you would have taped your teacher. So while your teachers are here, get that knowledge. And another thing that I want to tell the audience is that you can chat with me. If you go to blogtalkradio.com/Central Kai, you could chat, and I'll be taking questions via chat. I actually just opened up my chat window right now, so you can. So in addition to talking, if you want to chat, and I can read the chat, I can bring that into the conversation. I'm now going to go to the next caller, 8089. 8089. You're on the air.
Yes, sir. Peace and blessings, brother.
Yes,
sir. Peace and blessings.
Peace and blessings.
Yes. There's Brother Kevin from Brooklyn, New York.
Welcome.
Just calling in to give the greetings to Professor Hakeem and the co-host and the guests on the show. They're all doing a great job in bringing the information and educating us, the younger generation about Sanukas and Dr. Moses Powell and the great legacy that he has left for us.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Hakeem, what's going on, brother?
First of all, brother, if you're a piece of lesson, my brother Kevin, for those who don't know, but Shihan Kevin, and he is actually the co-founder of 720 Degrees Wisdom Jiu-Jitsu Technical Academy. He was also part down at Wentworth Collide. So, you don't hear much from Kevin. He always stay in the background. And I want to thank him very much because anything that you see with me pretty much is Shihan Kevin, the ones that put it out there, not me. Thank you, Kev.
And Kevin is just like me. He don't like to get involved too much, but he's a good martial artist. We train together. I train him.
Yes.
Yes. Assalamu alaikum, beloved.
Thank you very much. You want to speak a little bit, Shabazz, about our show for tomorrow?
Yeah. Before I go, because the lines are lit up, and it's important that I get all these calls in. Yes, I have about 6 or more calls to go to, but before I go to the next caller, we got the next show. It's called The Thunder Comes Before the Rain, Part 1. That's the name of the show. The name of the show is The Thunder Comes Before the Rain. And this show will be myself, and I'll be interviewing, and my co-host, Shihan Salahuddin, and I'll be interviewing Soke Grandmaster Little John Davis. And the name of that show is called The Thunder Comes Before the Rain. And I just spoke to his manager tonight, and we confirmed everything, and it'll be on tomorrow night at 9 o'clock on the same time, same show, call in. And, and I'm encouraging all the listeners. I mean, we're going to have some interesting questions. There's probably going to be questions that you've never heard before, and you're going to hear it first on the Senjokai Blog Talk Radio. But anyway, but when you do call in, I encourage you, chat, be engaged. Dr. Moses Powell was the greatest martial artist of the 20th century. The greatest martial artist of the 20th century. And he just so happened to be a black man. Alhamdulillah. So Dr. Moses Powell is the greatest martial artist of the 20th century. That means, and again, this is my personal belief, and it's shared probably by thousands of people. So that means that from 1900 to the year 2000, I say convicted without a doubt that there is no other martial artist that lived between 1900 and the year 2000 that was better than Dr. Moses Powell. Period. So if I'm on the show with a man that prefixed with the word legend, Grandmaster Lumumba, and if this man is teaching, he should have students from Brooklyn to Trinidad. The line should be across the Atlantic Ocean. Think about the logic here. If Dr. Moses Powell is the greatest martial artist of the 20th century, that means that Senior Professor Saifullah, that means that Professor Hakeem, that means that Sophie Hassan, that means that Grandmaster, all of the disciples who trained with the greatest martial artists of the 20th century should have students around the world. And it just so happened that one of his top student, if his champion, Soki Littlejohn, will be on the show tomorrow. So stay tuned to that. I definitely, we want a lot of calls. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to a lot of calls because there's going to be a lot of interesting questions. But nevertheless, tune in tomorrow. All right, the next call.
Let me say this, but it'll be a perfect opportunity to ask a question yourself. If you have a question, call in. And instead of, saying this or thinking that, let's address it to Soki Littlejohn yourself. Ask right on the air the question. And if you feel like the question is respectful enough and coming in good taste, and he'll, more likely will answer that. I'm going to ask for your permission for a time. I have a previous engagement, and Shihan is logged in for to relieve me at this time. I want to give the salams to everybody that's on the show here, and please give my salams to Shihan, and everybody just keep on training hard. And I'll have a wonderful time being with everybody this evening. And the people who are on the line, it's right up. Come on, bring your questions. Get your answers and share your experience with us that you had, with Dr. Moses Powell, or even one of the great instructors that you probably may have an opportunity to train under. Everybody have a good night, and thank you very much for giving me this wonderful opportunity. Eye to eye, heart to heart,
heart to heart.
One, teach one. Listen.
Heart to heart, each one teach one.
Ashir Saladin, are you on the line?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, I can hear you. Yes.
Good. I want to say thank you to Professor Saifullah Al-Mariki for covering for us. As you know, live radio, things happen. And Professor stood in real good for me, and I do appreciate it. Let me say hello to both of our guests.
Us. Eye to eye, heart to heart. Each one.
Heart to heart. Good. And Shabazz, let's go ahead and just continue what we're doing. You're doing great work, by the way. So let's get right back to it.
All right, yes, sir. The next call is going to be 0403. You're on the air. 0403. Okay. All right. Before I do that, I see a person just logged in on the chat. Let me ask, do they have a question? And then I'm going to take another call, 1126. 1126.
Thank you.
Caller 1126.
Okay. Let me go to. We have a lot of calls. Let's go to another one. Let's go to 8965. Don't be shy. Hey, we have history on this phone. 8965. All right. Go to the next caller. 03.
You gotta say hello, caller. Go ahead. They saying the number of the switchboard that the line they calling.
0372. You're on the air, sir.
0372. You're on the air.
0372. Yes, peace. Yes, I'm here.
Yes, sir. State your name and welcome to On the Mat, and that's your question.
And where are you calling from?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Oh, this is K.O. Chandler. I just stayed on the line. I'm enjoying the show. I already spoke. I just like to give another big up to what you're doing as far as spreading information to the Sanukas family. I like to give a big healthy shout out and us to everybody that called in. Personally, I know half of them, and the other half that I don't know personally. It'll be a pleasure to meet y'all, and I'm looking forward to the to the unity of the Sanukas family, and I can't wait to meet the people all across. Up and down the coast and around the world when it comes to the Sanukas. Us as the children of Sanukas, we're looking forward to meeting our extended family. I just like to say continue in the work and give thanks again. Enough love to Professor Hakeem, and enough love and respect to Grandmaster Lumumba. And you as well, the host, for what you're doing. Please keep up the good work. Thanks again.
Thank you, sir. All right, we have our last caller. Let me see. 9213. 9213. Okay, Professor Hakeem. I got some questions I want to ask. Now,
okay.
Sanukas rule was birthed out of an urban environment, particularly the New York City environment, Harlem and Brooklyn. Now, when you look at, let's say, for example, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, a lot the terrain in Brazil is sand. It's like beachy. It's not a lot of concrete. Like, there's a lot of parts of Brazil that's kind of like sand. And I can see how ground fighting could have been developed in Brazil because your foundation is a lot of sand. But in Brooklyn and Harlem, your foundation is concrete. So my question is, what did the environments, in terms of the viciousness of some of these inner cities of Harlem and Brooklyn, like what environmental influences affected the mentality of the Sanukas martial art? How did the inner cities of Brooklyn and Harlem help cultivate the Sanukas art?
I would say this: the Sanukas Jiu-Jitsu is urban, so it's the roads, the fords, that becomes the concrete now becomes like the sand for you, because we take so much force. So it's like, I got into a situation one day, and the guy that I had the situation with, he was 6'11" tall. I'm 5'3". Okay, and when that fight took place, I didn't see any height. He became smaller than me. This is what Sanukas do for you. So the concrete, the road, we don't see that. We don't even, that becomes like sand, and we don't look to just throw ourselves down because they got to throw us. But, for the urban situation, the dock, there's a mentality that comes with Sanukas. Grandmaster Lumumba Jan always tell us that for sure. And Grandmaster Anthony Muhammad said to us one day, and I don't know how much people heard it, but I heard it. He said, there is two of you. There's the peaceful you and there's the warrior you. And you have to know when to switch on and switch off. So in the urban environment, if you feel threatened, if it's a threat, it's time to bring out the warrior.
Us. I got another call. Let me go to the line. 2580. 2580. Let me go to the net. We have another caller. 9014. 9014. You're on the air. So Professor Hakeem, so can you, now when you talk about that mentality, because I think personally, if you lose that mentality, if you lose that urban streetology, if you lose that urban instinct, if you lose that urban warfare type of mentality, I think you lose a big part of Sanucus. Because I think Sanucus plays off of that instinct. And anyone, and so because anyone that's doing Sanucus in its purest form, you know within seconds that this is a very dangerous art. So with that being said, how would you categorize the Sanucus mentality, the warrior spirit in its purest form? How would you categorize that? If just for the sake of this being a documented recording.
Well, you can't. Sanucus mentality. You can't want to be in it and not in it. It's either you're in it or you're not in it. Because if you're not in it, you're gonna get hurt. You're gonna get hurt. Touch and go. If you feel threatened, you don't wait for the person to attack you. You got to get rid of them right away. And if you don't have that mentality, then go home. Then go home, because that is not Sanucus. You have what you got to do. My show tomorrow, The Thunder Comes Before the Rain. I mean, this is a pretty big show for both me and my teacher Shihan. And can you kind of give me some insight into what is Comite Ru and what was it like training under Soke Lil Jan? Like what was his mentality like in that dojo? Well, Comite Ru is Sanucus. I'm not gonna put no separation to it. I think that we call it. Some people, maybe Soke Lil Jan, call it because he fights a lot. Comite is fight. So I don't know if that's why they call it that, but that's what I might feel. As far as training with Soke Lil Jan, you got to expect to get some shinai. No doubt about it. You got to expect to fall on the concrete. No doubt about it. And you got to expect to get some punches in your stomach. No doubt. No doubt. You got to be in that whole stance and, take what's coming to you. So it's like I said, and I can't just say it for Soke Lil Jan. It's the same thing with Grandmaster Bill McLeod or Grandmaster Anthony Muhammad. They all have the same thing. Everybody just have a little different spirit, But everybody, once you're there with the doc, man, you got it like that. That's how it is. The training stays the same, and we try to keep it that way.
If you're just tuning in, you're on the mat. This is on the mat with the living legend, Grandmaster Lumumba and Professor Hakeem. I'm going to go to our next caller, 1126. 1126.
Hello?
Yes, sir. State your name and ask your question. Yes, welcome to On the Mat. Hello?
Hello, this is 1126?
Yes, sir.
Out of Chicago?
Okay, can you state your name and ask your question?
Yes, my name is Shashak Levi, student of Grandmaster Chief Professor Shem Yehuda. Oh. And my question, who may I ask, do you have on the show with you, present?
I have the living legend Grandmaster Lumumba. I have Professor Hakeem, and also have my co-host Shihan Salahuddin. And I'm Fulkan Shabazz.
All right. I give peace and blessings to my brothers and my fellow instructors in the Sanucus family. Question that I would like to ask: in the last of the top 20 students, and I don't know how that may be determined of the top 20 students of Dr. Powell, but I was wondering of those top 20 students that were in Sanucus, how many of them are familiar with the Israelite community? And the reason why I'm asking that is because Dr. Powell, when I met him in 1977 and again in 2000, Dr. Powell had came by the Israelite community that was in Brooklyn, New York, and he had various different demonstrations that he had done there. And I was wondering if any of your hosts who are there with you, as well as yourself, may have participated with him whenever he came into the Israelite community and did his events.
Grandmaster Lumumba or Professor Hakeem?
No, I wasn't there with people at that time, right? That's before my time. The only thing I know about the Israelites was Grandmaster Chief Professor Shem. You know, that's the only person that I know as far as in the family that's Israelites.
And what's your experience, and how was he as an instructor with you?
Well, Grandmaster Shem, when he came to our dojo was with Shem Baki, he actually taught Aikido. So my first introduction to Aikido was with him, and followed by Grandmaster Bill McLeod. And he was a great instructor for me.
To Grandmaster Saifullah, what was your experience in terms of dealing with Professor Grandmaster Yehuda?
Well, that would be Grandmaster Lumumba, and this is Grandmaster Lumumba. Do we still have Grandmaster Lumumba?
What's the question?
His question, Grandmaster, is what was your experience training with Chief Professor Shem, Yehuda Shem?
He was just like everybody else. We were all trained together. But you have to understand, she came later on. I was there earlier, but I was still there. He was just like anybody else. He's not nobody special. Everybody is the same thing, brother. There's not one all big eyes and one little views. We all trained together. And I was there when we trained very hard. The same came later. Me, General John, Hudson, Osby, these are the people, Lorenzo, Latif now. These guys came along before Shem. He came after. He was pretty strong, he was tough. That shows a lot of people.
Yes, sir.
Hey, brother, let me ask you, while I got you on the phone, do you teach Sanukas in Chicago?
Yes, I do.
Have you ever? How strong is the Sanukas family in Chicago?
I would say it's quite strong.
Okay, and do you train with Grandmaster Anthony Muhammad out there?
I know Grandmaster Anthony Muhammad very well. I also attended the event that Dr. Powell came to that was at Harlan High School here in Chicago. That was in 1996, where he did an exceptionally great event. And I worked out with them at that event as well as in 2000.
Well, and what's your name again, sir?
Shashak Levi.
Well, thank you for calling in. Did you have any more questions?
Not at this time.
All right. All right, brother.
All right, thank you for calling in.
To the wall and back.
Oh. Yeah, I have a question for Grandmaster Lumumba. All right. Grandmaster Lumumba, what was the difference in your preparation and your training when you, because like I said, Doc called you your first champion. So it's a two-part question, and like right now, Professor Hakeem, you can help him. What was the difference in the training? As you know, fighting and self-defense are two different things. Of course. What was the difference in training when you were preparing to fight, and the difference in class when we're just doing just Sanukas as far as on the street level? 1, 2, straight to the point, take them out, and then when you're actually fighting. And then also, who were some of the notable people that you fought in your career, whether you won or lost a fight, but some of the notable people that you were fighting?
Fred Miller, Monroe, Fred Miller, other people. We fought John Paul Delgado, one of our teams for Joe Louis. Louis
Delgado?
John Paul Delgado, Louis Delgado. This is a good fighter, too. Go ahead. At that time, we was all fighting. Everybody was fighting. Now these guys, when Sanukas was fighting, We put Lucas on the map. Lil Jon, me, all other people, Rudy, from Grandmaster Rudy, Hudson, right? We fought. These guys coming in on, but they didn't fight. They didn't get on the map. They didn't get in the street. They didn't fight in the street. They didn't fight in the tournaments. They didn't do no quarters. They didn't do nothing. That's saying that it was good. But they didn't go on our side and compete with other people. We were the front runners. I wish I wasn't. It doesn't make no difference to me. I was just lucky that I was there. You understand? It so happened I was in we was in the magazine because we put our life on the line. We put our finger on the line. We put our skill on the line. We put our ego on the line. We had no ego. We just fought. If we win. We didn't win. Some people lose because it was too much force.
Yes, sir.
Now, when we train for fighting, especially being Lil Jon, we had certain techniques. We would do certain things. One kick and a punch, and we learn defense from that. Then we learn other things, and we combine them together, and we fight free fighting. The other thing is that, some people, we fought in the street for real. Guy goes with guns. Yeah, I got shot a couple of times. I took guns away from people a couple of times. I did a lot of stuff, And that was it. I feel I was pretty tested. No, I don't want to fight anymore. But I don't say I can't fight. I don't want to fight anymore. But if anybody attacks me, that's what I'm training. But
yes, sir.
The ultimate,
go ahead.
The ultimate aim right now, besides fighting and hurting people, what is the real value of martial arts? The real value of martial arts is not only to hurt people and beat people up and destroy them almost, but the value of martial arts now is the philosophical point, the attitude, and also the well-being of the person who's practicing martial arts. He's going to make himself healthy. He's going to find his body. He's going to understand nature. He's going to blend himself with nature. He's going to be more nice to people, humble to people. That doesn't mean he's a punk. He's humble because he knows he can do. Yeshiva fought Master Jiu-Jitsu a long time ago, and after he came into Aikido. Aikido himself, but he learned Master 7 styles of Jiu-Jitsu, which is the richest. As you get older, you cool down. You go to another realm. You don't be so stupid as when you was young. You don't want to fight with people. You think more.
So Grandmaster Lumumba, but let me ask you, when did the trends, because like you said, John, you, the early guys were fighting. You were fighting in the ring and you were fighting in the streets. You were, especially in New York at that time, you guys had to fight for your life. When do you think the transition happened to because, particularly there's some people who and I don't know who can fight, who can't fight, because I don't study people like that. But when did the transition get away, or the stress of snooker's get away from the real, and I shouldn't say even get away from, but when did some of the other people come? Because I've heard you say this in some of your speeches and just in conversation with you before, that a lot of the people now, they don't train anymore, and they don't, they can't even take a punch, or they don't know how to deliver, even properly deliver a punch. Snooker's was put together. Snooker's worked because Doc fought. Doc put it together by what he did, and there are only a few people that ever saw Doc in real altercations. And then, like you just said, you and Soke Little John, some of the people that had their fight both in the ring and on the street. So, in your opinion, when did the change happen in Snooker's where people stopped fighting, whether in the ring or on the street, and became what I call theoretical fighters? They theoretically fight this and they theoretically fight that.
I wouldn't say quite that, but what happens in a certain period of time in history, any art, it becomes glorious and then it died out, because sometimes people live on the glory of the fighters, people themselves, and forget about training the game, maintaining the glory. The glory is only in the remembrance in the minds of the people, but not in the skill and the training of the people right now. We've got to get back and train harder, but we've got to get back to be honest and sincere with each other. Everybody wants to be the tough guy. Forget about being a tough guy. Let's train hard. Let's develop this art and put Moses Powell back on the map instead of putting ourselves on the map, because technically, any person who practices Moses Powell, he himself cannot get to the height of Moses Powell. He will never get to the height of Moses Powell. I train with many people. I train in Aikido school. I trained in Kung Fu school. I was a instructor on Wei Hung, on Tiger Floor. I trained on Sun Mantis, Blood Mantis. I trained a lot of people. I trained with Mr. V, one of Mr. V's instructors. But the point is that you got to train and train and train. And you got to train the people who has the same ability or a little more or a little less. But not people some people just train and beat the students up. The teachers just beat the students up. And eventually the students get stronger than the teachers because the teachers don't do nothing. All they do is just punish people, doing things on the teacher students, and they get tough and rough. But he's not getting tough. He's getting softer and softer. He doesn't realize it. But
Professor Hakeem, you can please go ahead and elaborate on this if you can. It's what you've seen.
With as far as the fighting is concerned.
Yeah, as far as like the early guys fighting, I mean, I'm not saying we don't have our champions today, but we don't have the champions like you guys had. And I know the first generation is usually the best in everything. But like we say, let's say like Oyama's karate system. Nobody's going to be better than Oyama in his own karate system. But they still have people that continue to try to maintain and fight, and try to keep the level of the karate system strong. I want you to elaborate on this. Are we missing those fighters in Sanukas, or I agree. I couldn't agree with Grandmaster Lumumba where it's just a natural progression of things. Usually we're building the system now off the backs of Lumumba and Soka Jan and Grandmaster Pedro and Grandmaster Noah and those early people. I want you to elaborate a little bit on that, just from your point of view.
My point of view from that is the television, the media. They show us a certain stereotype of martial arts, and many people don't want to be sued. So they conform to a commercial type of martial arts. But there are some of us who still like, let's say, for instance, myself or some of the brothers I come up with. When we go to Grandmaster Bill school, we train like how he likes to train. You know what I mean? Like if we're in the streets or something, we go through a whole class and maybe 3-4 hours we might be training. Not like half an hour or 45 minutes, So we go through like really training with him. And same thing with Grandmaster Lumumba, when he teaches for the streets because, like most of the instructors say, you don't have a belt out in the streets. So when we train, we don't really train, we never really train for no competition. We train to survive. Train to go take care of us, our families, our friends, and the people that we love, and go back home safe. So that's how we train for ourselves. But as far as students and stuff is concerned, it's hard to bring them to that level. Because of the media and because of what they see on television, Tiger Showman or whoever it is. And you don't want to get sued.
You're on the mat. You're on the mat with the living legend Grandmaster Lumumba and Professor Hakeem of the Sanukas rule. These first generation Grandmaster Lumumba, first generation student of Dr. Moses Powell, and Professor Hakeem, another pioneer in the Sanukas rule family. 619-996-1602. I want to go to the next caller. Let me see. 4293. 4293. Okay. Another caller. Let me go to 2580. 2580. Okay. And one last call just came in. Let me go to 6323.
6323.
Yes. Are you 6323?
Yes. Hello.
Yes, sir. Say your name and you're on the air. Welcome to On the Mat, sir.
Well, I was just tuned in. My brother Levi just hooked me up to that it was on. See, I'm from Chicago, but I'm visiting down here from Green Bay. But I met Professor Shem Yehuda in 1970. At that particular time, I was doing karate and everything, but he showed me a new light. He showed me the art of fighting without fighting. Excuse me. And I found out it was called Sanukas. So I'm just getting in, and basically I'm gonna start listening to y'all. You know, to me it's great.
Hey, listen. You know what? I want to take you to Paul.
Huh? I can't. You breaking up?
I want to ask you a favor. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yes. Listen, Sanukas, you know, this thing that we're doing with this show, man, this is just the beginning of it. You know, Sanukas is a movement. You know, this is a movement. This is not just about, you know, we're serious about this. I think it's like our 32nd, 33rd show. You know, but when I say movement, man, you know, we want to put Sanukas back on the top of the mountain. You know, because it's all about Doc, period. We're about Dr. Moses Powell. We don't put him, he don't have nobody stand by him. He don't have nobody. You can't. There's nobody right now that's in the same continent as him. You understand? So he got to be put back where he needs to, because see, in order for Sanukas to be put back on the top of the mountain, he got to be put back on the top of the mountain.
And I agree with that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so once he's put back on the top of the mountain, then because see, this is the thing. There's nobody that's the leader of Sanukas rule. The leader of Sanukas rule is the teachings of Sanukas rule.
I agree with that.
The teachings of Sanukas rule is the leader of Sanukas rule. And so as a new generation, as a young generation, it's our duty to go to all the legends, like the living legend Grandmaster Lumumba. He has a big chunk of the teachings.
Okay.
Sophie Littlejohn, who I'm going to interview tomorrow, has a big chunk of the teachings. Sophie Hassan Khalid has a big chunk of the teachings. Chief Professor has a big chunk of the teachings. But nobody can claim it all. But when these teachings come together, the total sum of these teachings, the totality of these teachings is the leader of Sanukas rule. And that's why this show, that's why our first objective is to bring about unity. Ummah. You know, Ummah, community life. You know, what this show is trying to be, we're trying to be a model community. We're trying to be, because this radio show is a community. We're trying to be a model community of unity. And so if the masses can come together, and if they can perpetuate this model community of unity, then you will see Dr. Powell come out of that. You will see will see a renaissance. And I'm gonna tell you something, man. A lot of people listen to this show and they hate Sanukas root guts. A lot of people listen to this show and they would hate Dr. Powell's guts. You don't want to say his name. You don't want to say his name.
Yeah, that's bad.
That's gonna make up their money. Because listen, I'm the man. You understand what I'm saying? He's the man. Yeah. She's the man, but no, Doc's the man.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So when the unity comes back and when the teachings comes back, we put Doc on the top of the mountain, and then when those teachings come back, then we look at them teachings as the leader. You see what I'm saying? And we look at the Grandmasters like Lumumba as the disciples. So when next time I'm in Brooklyn, I'm definitely gonna go to his dojo because that's one of the disciples. If I'm in Chicago, I'm going to stop by Grandmaster Anthony Muhammad. That's one of the disciples. If I'm in Brooklyn, I'm going to Tucker Hassan. I'm here. One of my teachers here, Tal Hadim. You see, and so I just wanted to say that, you know, so where you at? You know, tell people about this show wherever you go. Tell people to tune into this show because Dr. Moses Powell was the greatest martial artist of the 20th century. But that's all I wanted to say on that.
Okay, I agree with that.
And also, Carl, I want to thank you for listening, man. Please spread the show around. Let the people know, those that are in Sanukas and those that are not in Sanukas and any other martial art, that there's a martial art show that's centered around Dr. Moses Powell and the Sanukas Rule Jiu-Jitsu, and people that have any type of relationship with Dr. Moses Powell. Please let them know about our show, and we do appreciate you listening. We get new listeners every single show, and this thing is growing even faster than we anticipated. And I think Doc would be proud of me, and even Mr. Shabazz, who he met briefly, and of course he'd be proud of the people that are on the show: Grandmaster Lumumba, Professor Hakeem, Professor Saifullah, and so on and so on. Sophie Littlejohn Davis tomorrow, God willing. So as long as we're doing the work of Dr. Moses Powell here, like Shabazz said, and we're going to continue to do that work. Hate it or love it, it's going to be here, and the work of Dr. Moses Powell is going to continue. So I just want to thank you for listening, brother, and pass the word around. All right, let's get on back to the show.
So I think we have. Let me see. We have about 18 minutes. I think our guest, the call might have just dropped.
No problem. Grandmaster Lumumba, let me ask you, because we're getting ready to wrap this show up. Grandmaster Lumumba, what advice, and then also Professor Hakeem, I also want you to come in on this question when Grandmaster Lumumba finishes. Tell us, future generation, the snooker is in a transitional stage where it's going from the founder and his top students to the students' top students. Tell the people that are coming into snooker some advice that you would have to give them for the people that are coming into snooker, the people that are new in snooker, and even some of the old guard of snooker's rule. What advice would you want to leave our callers with, if you could elaborate on that?
Find all the people who was there at the beginning, when there was the strong points, and emulate the teaching of Moses Powell as he taught it, exactly as he taught it, until you get it really good. Then you could make any adjustments. But before you could make adjustments to put your thing in there, practice it the way Moses Powell taught it. Get the feeling, get to understand what he was doing, trying to do. But you got to do it over and over and over again without interfering with his teaching and his method. That's the point. Everybody wants to learn Moses Powell stuff for 2 minutes or 1 month, and then they want to change up, put their stuff into it. They're not qualified, and they're not so smart or intelligent or understand physiology or the science of motion and movement to even understand what he was doing. You got to do it for 2 or 3 years. Go over it over and over and over again. And open your mind and try to understand his philosophy and his principles and use other people who was there. That's all you got to do. Don't put your 2 cents in it right now. Just wait. Be patient. Your time is coming. But until you do that, or until you could get it mastered at the first thing, then you can start changing it. But until then, keep learning what Moses Paul did. That's it. Simple.
Professor Hakeem, are you still on the phone, sir?
I'm here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please give the audience all the information, telephone numbers, addresses, websites, all the information, how we could contact Grandmaster Lumumba, yourself, or if you guys teach together, all the information so that Sanuka's Root family can support you, reach out to you, and protect you if need be. So we know because you are elders, and and so you are family, and that's for real. So just put that information out there so that we know where you at. We know where you at. So I'm gonna just give you let them know where you at.
Okay, Grandmaster Lumumba and myself and Sean Kevon is at 1281 St. Mark's in Brooklyn, between Rochester and Buffalo Avenue in Brooklyn. We actually teaching out of a church, right? We there on Mondays from 4 to 6, Thursdays from 4 to 6, and Saturdays from 9:30 to 12. We're at 1281 St. Mark's, Brooklyn, New York. That's 2 blocks away from Atlantic Avenue, right? We have the website. We have a website, actually email address. It's the letter O, 720, number 720, wisdom@yahoo.com. 0720wisdom@yahoo.com. You can email at that, get in touch with that. And my phone number is 347-992-9583. Grandmaster Lumumba, could you also give them your phone number, please? If not, I'll hopefully, I don't know if you want anybody to call him, but I'll give you Grandmaster Lumumba number. All right, Grandmaster Lumumba, is it okay? Is he there?
I think he should be. Maybe he stepped away.
Grandmaster Lumumba.
Because I don't know if you want him to get directly in touch with him, so I'm not sure.
But if they get in contact with you, they can get in contact with him, correct?
Yes, because we teach. We are the same dojo.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Okay, Go ahead, sir. Finish with your Did you get all the info? Is you have any seminars coming up? Anything 2012 you need us to know about or support?
We don't have any seminars. We just training, and when we get invited to the other seminars, we give our support.
Are you selling any tapes? Are you selling any tapes? You selling any books?
No, we're not selling any tapes. We're not selling any books. We just train. We just train. That's why we're glad for what you're doing. Bringing the family together, because there's a lot of people, not just us, that really in the background. That you start this show and they start getting the information and getting Professor Salahuddin said, spread the news, spread the word. They're gonna come out in the open sooner or later, because they're gonna realize that the true Sanukas family is here.
Professor Hakeem, we got about 12 minutes left. I want you to just kind of go into your mind and just kind of tell us some stories about Dr. Moses Powell. Tell the audience some stories or some things about Sanukas with that most of you may not even know about, but will blow their mind. Like, you have the mic, sir.
Eye to eye, heart to heart, each one teach one. The dog, for me, and I guess many other people, he observes everything that takes place around him. He would be sitting, right, just sitting down, let's say at the entrance of the dojo, and you come in every other day or every day whenever you come. You say, listen, you keep going. And he wouldn't say anything to you, and you probably don't even think that he know your name. And then just out of the blue, the duck would say, Hakeem, what you doing today? Why why you moving like this? Why you doing such and such? The duck is very observant. He is very kind. If the duck likes you, he teaches you or he speaks to you at many different levels. And as our teacher, we need to continue to try to follow those examples and give to our students and to the people in the streets also. The duck was human. A lot of us have to remember that. The duck was human. And as a human being, he was a phenomenal, very kind person. He was very spiritual. He did his studies, and I would like to say that in the duck's teaching, you have to be soft and you have to be stern. So my advice to everybody is that in order to be like that, you have to prepare yourself mentally, not just physically, because at any given moment, if you don't prepare yourself mentally to be aware of things that could take place, you will freeze. And when you freeze, you know what happens. So you have to meditate. You have to read. You have to read. If you don't read, you don't necessarily get some of the things that are there for you to learn. Because we learn many different ways. We read, we write, we listen, we observe, we learn by examples, we learn by practicing and studying. So these are different ways. These are things that the doc would want you to do. Our instructors would want you to do. They don't just want you to be, the doc is a teacher of teachers. And his disciples also becomes teacher of teachers. And their students supposed to become teacher of teachers. But to do that, you have to study. You have to study and you have to practice. If you don't practice and you just want to sit down like, I am the whatever, it won't work like that. All my instructors, all of our instructors, including the doc, they didn't just sit down on a chair. They was in the class with us. They was being part of whatever is being taught. So with that said, I'd like to thank you, my brother, and thank Brother Salahuddin, and all my instructors, all my fellow brothers in the martial arts for giving their support. And we thank Lumumba, Grandmaster Lumumba, for being there for me at the dojo. Anything that I want to know, anything that I want to learn, you know, Grandmaster Lumumba is there. She and Kevin is there. Now, you know, most of us know that Grandmaster Lumumba is a very laid-back person. He don't just teach any and anybody, you know. So I am very grateful to Allah for allowing me to be, since I started in the family, to be around Grandmaster Lumumba and Grandmaster Bill McCall, Grandmaster Anthony Muhammad, Soki Lil John Davis, you know, and all the other instructors, C. Jabal Mutakere, Soki Hassan Kalik. My dear brother, well, you know, there's a little debate, things about it, Soki Osei, or Professor Osei, or Shian Osei, what some people call him. I thank him very much because he never leaves me out. You know, Brother Sims, and all the other brothers. So I thank you all very much. May Allah reward you all for what you're doing, and take care of your family. Be safe. Watch your back. Eye to eye, heart to heart. Each one teach one. Us?
Us. We're in the show with that. To the wall and back. Us.
Us.